Engaging! Ready?
Yes.
Extrapolation. This guard doesn't appear honored to have the job of greeting us. Translation. Translation. He will take us before the chieftain, as he was instructed to do. Translation. He did not expect us to return, Master. He wonders if we have brought the moisture evaporators. Translation. Translation. He says that he has made his offer and there will be no further negotiation, Master. Deliver the evaporators or face death. Shall I blast him now? Translation. Translation. He does not trust you, Master, but you have done more than any other outsider. They will not attack, and he grants you his chieftain's gaffy as reward. Translation. The attacks will be reduced, and he will allow you to explore this enclave, but be warned that any lack of respect will result in death. Protocol. If you truly want this sadly peaceful arrangement to continue, be careful of what you ask. Translation. Translation. He says that what you seek is far from here in the eastern Dune Sea. He will give you a map so you can find your way. Translation. His people found it but didn't scavenge it because a crate dragon took up residence in the excavation. Translation. Translation. Your ignorance isn't his concern. He claims there is a hunter that wanders the area sometimes and that you should ask him. Translation. The hunter is a Twi'lek. He will be in the eastern Dune Sea somewhere. Clarification. We must be more specific, Master. They capture many organics. Translation. Translation. He says that the captive Jawas are slaves and that they have lived past their usefulness. You may take them if you wish. Translation. Translation. He says that by his very presence, this griff defiles their home and land. He is without any semblance of usefulness to them. Extrapolation. I would assume we are free to take him. It is doubtful they will even waste the effort to kill him. Perhaps we could do it, Master. Protocol. We should not keep him long. It is an insult to take too much of his time. Unless the plan is to blast him when you are done, of course. Protocol. This will be a very sensitive topic, Master. You will want to be careful with your questions or risk offending him. Not that that is much of a worry. Translation. Translation. He says that he will not, Master. There is one storyteller in each clan, and only he may recite the histories. Translation. Translation. He says that you don't understand. They must never be told to someone who might say them incorrectly out of ignorance. Translation. To speak them in error is a blasphemy punishable by death. Only their greatest warriors are even permitted to listen to the tales. Translation. Translation. He doesn't know, Master. His people usually kill outsiders. Since you are an outsider yourself, that would not suffice. Translation. The greatest challenge for a warrior is to face a great dragon, the largest predator on Tatooine. Fight one of those, and bring back a dragon pearl. Discussed. I think he's making fun of you, Master. He doesn't believe an outsider could do such a thing. Translation. Translation. He says there is a dragon in the Eastern Dune Sea that you could sacrifice yourself to. You already have a map to the area. Translation. There is a hunt, a Twi'lek, that is sometimes seen out there. Translation. Translation. He says that the fact that you have to ask, this is just one more example of your ignorance as an outsider, Master. He says you are blind. Translation. His people believe they are part of the land, living with it. You and your kind dare to raise yourself above it. You remove yourself. Translation. That act of removal makes you an outsider, separate from all that is important. You could never understand how unwelcome you are. Translation. Translation. He says that outsiders use machines to convey them and to make their lives easier. This severs a connection with the land. Translation. Connection to the soil must be made through flesh. A sacred animal is the only external tool to be used. Translation. Translation. He says that the use of these blasphemous things will only be tolerated because outsider interference has forced it upon them. Translation. If your kind had not come here, he would not have to defend their ways or their land. Translation. Translation. He says that the robes are sacred, Master, and you would not understand. Sand people are never uncovered outside of the most private moments. Translation. Translation. Never. That is their way, Master. Protocol. Is that wise, Master? They may have assumed that the disguises you used were replicas instead of being taken off their dead. Translation. Translation. We are free to leave. Acknowledgement.
Yes?